On the ground in Israel, the Chief Executive of the Australian Jewish Association, Robert Gregory, joins me. Thank you very much for your time. You're on the ground on a day that's very historical when you consider what the Israeli cabinet has decided to do. What do you make of that?
Well, I think the multifront wars which began on October 7 when Hamas attacked Israel are coming to an end. We've seen the Iranian nuclear program destroyed. We've seen Hezbollah now being disarmed by the Lebanese government. But one thing remains. There are still 50 Israeli hostages held in dungeons, held in tunnels underneath Gaza. 20 of them are believed to be alive. And Israel has a responsibility not to end this war, not to retreat until these hostages are returned to their families. And I think we were quite close to a ceasefire deal when a bunch of Western nations started increasing pressure on Israel, threatening to recognize a state of Palestine. I think this has caused Hamas to retreat from those negotiations, seeing that they were getting the results they wanted anyway. So I think the ceasefire talks are dead. There needs to be another solution. And you mentioned Penny Wong's words. I've been meeting some leaders here in Israel, and I have to say, I don't think anybody is listening to what Penny Wong is saying. People are aware that she did not even visit the sites of the massacres in Israel, places which I've just been to and which are very, very confronting. And perhaps if she had visited, she would have learned something. But what I have noticed, I've been to Israel several times, and they like Australians here. And usually when you say you're from Australia, you'll get a reaction, something like, kangaroos or Bondi Beach. But this time, when I mention I'm from Australia, the reaction from Israelis is, we're very sorry for what you guys have been through. So Australia is making the news in Israel for all the wrong reasons. It's a country at war, but the Israelis are very worried about some of the recent anti-Semitic attacks that they've seen in Australia. So there's a lot going on in the Middle East, and unfortunately, I think the Australian government doesn't really have much influence here.
Would you say our reputation is a bit tarnished?
It's certainly tarnished. Again, as I said, Australia's far away. People have nice thoughts about it. Many Israelis travel here. They know things. They know Bondi Beach. They know the nice animals, the friendly people we have. But lately, they've seen pictures of burning synagogues, hateful marches. So, yeah, their reaction, it's a country at war. And they are more concerned about the Australian and what is going on over here. They worry about us. So I think that says quite a bit.
Robert, we've got a unique opportunity. You're on the ground there. How do you read the mood of the average Israeli in regard to what the IDF are having to go through in Gaza? Is it possible to summarise, I guess, whether the Netanyahu government and the Israeli military still have popular support for what's happening?
So Israel's quite unique in that the military it's compulsory service. So everyone has, a son or a brother or a neighbor in the army at the moment or in the reserve. So the army has incredible support. Obviously, politically, people are divided. There's people that love Netanyahu. He keeps winning elections. And then there's people that don't like him and they often protest in the street. So there is division there. But I think on the goals of the war, there is unity. So all across Israel, you see a few things that I haven't seen on previous visits. You see pictures of the hostages and signs saying, until the last one. So until the last hostage is returned, Israel must continue. And then you also see signs just, until victory. There's many pictures of fallen soldiers. People know the terrible, terrible price that they've paid for this war in their young 18-year-old men that have died of 800 in Gaza. And they want that the victory that their deaths should not be in vain, that the terrorist group should be destroyed, that it cannot carry out an October 7 again, as Hamas has promised to do, to keep doing it again and again. So I think while Israelis may disagree on some of the politics, there's incredible unity about the goals of the war.
Just before you go, we saw some horrendous images during the week of two of those hostages. One man so emaciated that you could barely look at it. He was digging his own grave, it appeared. When pictures and images like that are released, and they were released by Hamas for whatever purpose, I've really got no idea. What's the feeling in Israel on the ground when you see something like that?
I mean, these images are very traumatic. They don't get released in Israel until the families of the hostages have given permission for their loved ones to be shown, which they did in this case. And people understand Hamas is a terrorist group. It's playing psychological games, manipulation against the public. They release it to try and pressure Israelis to give in to all their demands. In this particular image, you can see the arm of a Hamas terrorist in the images while you see the starving Israeli hostage, and the Hamas is not starving. His arm looks completely normal, even a bit fat, one might say. So it puts some of these lies that there's wide scale that everyone in Gaza is starving. But one thing we are certain of is that the Israeli hostages are being starved, and it's cruel. It must end, and it seems that the only way it can end is with the complete destruction of Hamas, which hopefully this latest decision by the Israeli cabinet will ensure happens.
Robert, Gregory, thanks for joining us from Jerusalem. Appreciate it very much.
Thank you.